What's up guys, Dr. Greg here back with another episode of Braces Explained. Now today's episode is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be tailoring this to every patient, not only those that are in orthodontics. And that is because what we're going to be talking about today is Waterpiks. And that's not only useful for people that are going through orthodontic treatment, but all patients. People have questions like, does Waterpik replace flossing? How do I use the Waterpik? Do I use it before or after brushing or flossing? All of these questions are things that I'm going to address in today's video. And I'm very excited that also in today's video, if you stick around to the end, we're going to be unboxing my two favorite Waterpik products, the Sonic Fusion and the Aquarius. So stay tuned to the end of this video so we can go ahead and unbox those and review the pros and cons and indications for each one of these. The Waterpik products that we're going to review in this episode are actually two of my favorite ones, and one of them actually has an electric toothbrush built into it. So it's your end-all be-all for products that you need. So I really recommend these products, and I'm actually going to put a link in the description of this video so that you can access them on Amazon. With that being said though, let's get started on today's video, which is the ultimate Waterpik review. Let's go. So what a Waterpik is a type of water flosser. And it could be confusing because a lot of people think, well, if it's a water flosser, does that mean that it's better or can replace string floss? And I'm gonna start and give a little spoiler alert right now, and the answer is no. It does not replace flossing, but it is an amazing adjunct to use in your oral hygiene routine. What a Waterpik is that it is a pressurized stream of water which comes out of this device, and you can pick different forces, and what it is like an oscillating squirt gun, and it squirts water on your teeth, around your gums to dislodge and break up any biofilm or bacteria that's developing there. Think of it this way, it's like when you're washing your car, it's that pressurized hose that could be used to take off the initial layer of dirt off of the car. It gets into hard to reach areas and disrupts that bacteria that's forming by squirting water and basically breaking up where this plaque is developing. But if it was just as easy as that, we would never need to brush or floss. So let's get into the first question, and that is, who could benefit from using a Waterpik? And the answer is basically everyone. The Waterpik is a very useful tool for everyone to implement into their oral hygiene routine. I really recommend it in my braces patients just because it's really hard to clean around all that hardware, and we'll get a little bit more into that later on. But even if you're not in braces or Invisalign, it is a great tool because what it could do is dislodge that bacteria and make it so that you're more efficient at cleaning your teeth. Now, which I touched on a little bit earlier, is can a Waterpik replace flossing? And the answer is no. The reason that Waterpik or any water flosser isn't the end all be all is that we actually have to mechanically break up this bacteria. If you think about it, if you just put water on something, even if it's pressurized, there's still going to be something that's stuck to the surface. Now, imagine a car at a car wash. If you sprayed pressurized water on this car and then use a white napkin or towel to wipe it and look at it, you'll see that there's actually still dust. Now, bacteria binds to the tooth even stronger than dust binds to a car. So yes, Waterpik is great at getting that initial layer of bacteria off of your teeth, but you have to follow it up with a toothbrush and string floss to actually wipe the tooth surface and dislodge a lot of this bacteria. So you might be thinking next, well, if I want to use a Waterpik with floss and brushing, should you Waterpik first? Should you brush first, floss first? What is the order? I'm just going to chime in here and say, if you're enjoying today's video, please hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up so you can stay up to date with all of my content. Okay, now back to it. And the routine that I usually recommend is I like to tell my patients to start off with the Waterpik. The Waterpik is used to initially dislodge any food or bacteria that's in the mouth and free it up. Now, once that's out and you rinsed your teeth, now you have the teeth that are relatively clean and they're ready to be brushed and flossed. The way you want to use any and all of these Waterpik tips is you want to aim it towards the gum line. And you want to be angling it just like how we reviewed in our brushing video. You want to have it at a 45-degree angle and work it around the gums and in between the teeth. And this will dislodge any of the bacteria that's developing in the sulcus, or basically right around the gum line. And also, when you're going between the teeth, just try to aim it between the contact to break up anything that might be developing in between the teeth, both on the cheek side as well as on the tongue side, basically to disrupt any bacteria that is developing along the gums and in between the teeth. What I recommend my patients to do next is to brush using a fluoridated toothpaste. And the way I recommend my patients brush is in a video that I'm gonna link out into this corner. And it's how to brush with braces, but it's also useful for people that are just curious about the proper way to brush your teeth. Using a fluoridated toothpaste is really important because what it does is it adds fluoride to the oral cavity, and this actually strengthens the outer layer of your tooth, the enamel, which prevents cavities from developing. After you brush your teeth, I recommend that you spit but don't rinse your mouth because you want to let this fluoride stay in your mouth as long as possible. And then next, what I recommend is my patient's floss using string floss or some sort of a string floss product. And what this will do is actually go between the teeth and sweep the bacteria in those areas that the toothbrush bristles couldn't reach into. So you'll go ahead and use floss, and the fluoride that was from the toothpaste will actually be dragged into the teeth and applied to the areas of the contact between the teeth where cavities are most likely to occur. So to recap, what I recommend my patients do is start with the Waterpik, dislodge all the bacteria in your mouth, loosen it all up, follow up with a toothbrush using a fluoridated toothpaste, and then follow it up with string floss. I usually recommend that you use the Waterpik once to twice a day. Definitely brush twice a day for 2 minutes, and you can floss once a day, usually right before bed is what I recommend. So next, let's move on to the unboxing of these products and looking at the pros and the cons and really how to use my 2 favorite Waterpik products. These aren't the only water flossers available and not even the only Waterpik flossers available, but these are my 2 favorite ones. There actually is one that is a portable one, which I'm not reviewing in this episode, but I'll also put a link in this description for, and that's one that you can kind of take on the go if you're traveling or if you just want to keep one at work or at school. So the first product I want to go over today is the Waterpik Water Flosser Aquarius. And this is your traditional Waterpik appliance, and it basically has a reservoir and a handle with a water flosser. So let's go ahead and get this opened up. As a dentist, I have to open it up with a dental instrument, of course. There's no other way. It just doesn't work as well as I thought. So, you know what? We're just gonna open it up. Nice try, no cigar. So the first thing you realize is that it's really not too big, and it's perfect to just keep on the side of your bathroom countertop. So this is what the Waterpik Aquarius looks like, and it looks really clean. I actually love the way it looks. And this is the detachable handle with a pretty long string. You can see that there's 10 different settings on force levels that you can use. So if you have sensitive gums to get started with, you could start pretty low and work your way up. I can imagine 10 being pretty aggressive, so I don't know if I would recommend going that high, but you can find the comfort level that works best for you. In the low reservoir, there are a bunch of little tips, and they all have their own little purpose. And this is the reservoir. It goes all the way up to like 600 milliliters, and I think on the box it said that it can go for 90 seconds of water flossing before it runs out of water. And we're gonna try this out in a minute and see how it works in the mouth. So before we try this one out in the mouth, let's go ahead and take a look at all the zoomed in versions of these tips. So the Aquarius comes with 3 of the traditional Waterpik tips. And they have 3 different colors, so you can basically switch these out. And these only have to be replaced once every 6 months or so. And these are your traditional tips. Basically what they do is, you'll see in a minute, they basically just squirt the water out at a very pressurized location based off the settings that you pick on the Waterpik appliance. The other one that's included in here, which I don't really know the purpose for that much, would be the Waterpik toothbrush tip. Now the Waterpik that I go over next, the Sonic Fusion, that actually has a rotary in it, so you will have an electric toothbrush use. But this one doesn't have that. Now I wouldn't recommend using this simply because that if you're gonna use toothpaste, the Waterpik is gonna squirt all the water out and basically make it so you don't have any toothpaste that's being applied to the tooth. This one I don't know if I really recommend, but this one should be changed about every 3 months, just like your regular toothbrush tip. This one's called the Pickpocket, and it actually says to use a lower force on it. I think it actually said to use this on the lowest pressure possible, and that's because it's so pressurized. You can see from the tip right here that it's really pressurized. This is more so used for like if you have areas of bone loss and you're trying to get into little periodontal pockets. This is probably the Waterpik tip that I'd recommend for you. And these 2 are, one is called the orthodontic one. I actually don't think that it's necessarily used for orthodontics. I think you can use the regular Waterpik tip, but if you want a little bit more of a pressurized tip, these are the ones that are recommended. But like I said, this shouldn't be used with any toothpaste because the Waterpik will just squirt the toothpaste out of the area and you really won't have much efficiency with that. So let's go ahead and try out this Waterpik Aquarius intraorally and kind of see how it feels and what it looks like. So first thing you gotta do is basically fill it up with water from your sink. Usually I recommend adding a little bit of fluoridated mouthwash to it if you just wanna get a little bit of an extra clean. But any tap water should work just fine. With the Waterpik Aquarius, there's two different settings you can use. You can use the regular or the massage mode, and the massage mode is more pulsatile, but I think for a better clean, I would stick with just the regular Waterpik forces. So with the reservoir all filled up, we're gonna set it to my favorite setting, which is around 7 or 8. So with this Waterpik flosser, there's two different on buttons. There's an on the handle and an on the actual device. And the way I recommend using this product is by leaning over a sink, keeping your mouth partially open. The reason you don't want to keep your mouth too open is because the water is going to squirt everywhere. And at the same time, you don't want to keep your mouth shut because then the water is just going to pool in your mouth. So just partially open and allow it to kind of flow out of your mouth is the best way to use it. So you want to make sure that the handle is set to off, but the appliance is set to on. So you're going to turn it on here first, begin the pressure, and then put the handle in your mouth and then turn the handle on. So remember, device is on before it goes in your mouth, and then the handle turns on when it's in your mouth, or else it's going to be a squirt gun and go everywhere, and it's going to cause an absolute mess. So let's go ahead and try this one out. Now, just because my favorite setting is between 7 or 8 doesn't mean that that's the best setting for you. I have pretty healthy gums, but if you were just getting started with a Waterpik, your gums might be a little bit inflamed just because you haven't been practicing proper oral hygiene. So I would start a little bit lower, maybe at around 3 or 4, and slowly work your way up over time. Your gums may bleed at first because there is a lot of bacteria and biofilm that's kind of residing under the gums, but the more you use the Waterpik and use the brushing and flossing properly, then your gums will start being healthier. They'll start feeling a lot better, looking a lot better, and bleeding a lot less. So be consistent with your oral hygiene routine and using this Waterpik if you really want to achieve that level of oral hygiene and oral health. The next product we're going to talk about is my personal favorite, and that is the Sonic Fusion. So let's take a look at that. This has an electric toothbrush as well as a Waterpik built into it. So you can basically use this for all of your needs. You can use the Waterpik first to dislodge any bacteria or food particles, then add toothpaste and use it as an electric toothbrush. So there's no need to clutter your countertop with too many products. This is the one product that you need for all of that. So let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed. I'm not even going to try to use the dental instrument this time. Just gonna have at it. I lied, this tape's too hard. I'm gonna use a dental product. So this is the Sonic Fusion. It has that reservoir that we saw just like we did in the Aquarius, but it has so much more. So here's the reservoir that it comes with, and here's the electric toothbrush. And man, if I could say, this thing looks clean. You can see that this has an option for the brush when you just want to use the electric toothbrush, and flossing when you want to plug it into the reservoir. And the cool thing is you can actually take this on travel or to work with you and just use this as an electric toothbrush without using the reservoir, and then bring it back home using this carrying case and use it as a Waterpik. It has two different tips, but they're the same thing. It's just a replacement tip is included. And if you look closely, which I'll zoom into a second, it actually has a Waterpik hole in the top and a regular electric toothbrush tip. What you can see here is there's also 10 settings, just like what we saw in the previous one, and a string with a reservoir. This reservoir looks like it's a little bit smaller compared to the other one, but it should be more than enough for your water flossing needs. Again, I'm gonna start off by just filling this up with some water. You can go ahead and plug in your Waterpik handle. And this cord is plugged in order to charge the electric toothbrush, as well as be the cord that delivers the water from the Waterpik reservoir to the Waterpik handle. This toothbrush has 3 different settings. We have the toothbrush by itself. We have the water flosser, which I'm not going to demonstrate because I'm going to squirt it all over the place. And you can actually use both of them at the same time. So you can use the toothbrush and the flosser at the exact same time. But like we recommended earlier, we're going to start off with the water flosser, then we're going to apply some toothpaste, brush our teeth, and follow it up with some floss. So let's get started trying this one out. And remember, do not turn the water flosser on until it's in your mouth, and be sure to turn it off before you take it out of your mouth, or else you're going to make an absolute mess. I've said it throughout the video a lot, but I really do like the Sonic Fusion so much because of the fact that it's an electric toothbrush and it's a water flosser. So you really only need one thing on your bathroom countertop, and also the fact that you can detach it and use the carrying case whenever you go out of town or carry it with you to work. So it's really a great product. But if you're constantly on the go, it might not be the best product for you simply because there is a reservoir. I'm gonna put a link in the description of this video, but there is another Waterpik product that actually the whole thing is in one handle. The reservoir is a little bit smaller, obviously, but the fact of the matter is that it's a lot more portable. So a lot of people prefer that one. This is just my personal preference. If you have a Waterpik and absolutely love it, please let me know in the description of this video. If you had any questions that I didn't address, also leave it in the description of this video. And be sure to join us at our Facebook group, The Braces Club, which I'll link out to over here. Again, if you enjoyed today's video, please consider hitting the subscribe button and the thumbs up so you can stay up to date with all of my content. I hope you found this information useful and start implementing a Waterpik into your oral hygiene routine. That's it for today's episode. I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your day. For now, Dr. Greg, out.